Five, four, three, two, one. Rangers in space. Welcome to Cowabunga Ranger Talk. Today we're doing an actual series overview. We're covering in space, Power Rangers in space. We're going to be covering some of the bullet points of it. And we're not going to go episodically just because since it's such a long season, eventually we will on other episodes, but today
Yes.
we're just doing an overview of everything. Uh, with me, as always, is DTV83, my partner in crime.
Hey.
You know, thanks to everybody who's checking out the stuff. And one quick little thing: if you like our show, share it. That's it. We don't ask for Patreon. We don't ask for a million things. Or just you like it, share it to somebody who might like it.
That's right. Yeah, just share it and leave comments, hit the like button, you know, y- and let us know what you guys think. Overall, that's all we care about. Is just knowing what you guys think of it. Any ideas, any topics, let us know.
Yeah. So let's start with the Power Rangers in Space, the overview. The first point or the first sort of note to be with the turbo lead-in. What did you think of the the lead-in? Because it's a continuation of Turbo. It's very
It is
much
yes, it's 100% continuation of Turbo where they're leaving um up into space and leaving
yeah,
Justin behind, because he's a little kid, even though the rest of them are teenagers in high school, but what's the
yeah,
difference? We're just gonna leave him behind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little funny note. I saw Linkara cover this, and he said these teens only went to high school for one episode in the whole show.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes, I did. I remember. I
whoa,
just okay. So anybody that doesn't know, I just kind of sat down for the last 3 days and watched this from start to finish. I decided to do something I didn't think I'd ever do is go back and watch In Space because that was the last like 4 episodes in was the only episode I saw when I was a kid, and then I kind of moved on to playing music. So I decided to finally go back after all this time and watch it. So
yeah,
yeah, it's fresh in my mind.
yeah. As far as the lead-in, I thought it's very much a continuation, and there was always and like everybody's kind of talked about this, so I'll just like very briefly go over. This was supposed to be the end of Power Rangers. The show had been
Yes.
technically canceled. They ran out of money. They ran out of this. They ran out of that. All of the original crew was completely gone by now. Yeah, we no more power transfers, no more nothing. Yeah, we were done with pretty much everything. So
This is true. Yes.
this is supposed to wrap everything up, and the end of Turbo. For those that don't know, basically, Demetria and Zordon, uh, they kind of both get captured, run off into space, and Zordon is captured, and that's basically the series plot of the entire show. It's finding Zordon, chasing Zordon. So that's basically that.
And
Uh,
if on a different side note about this whole capturing Zordon, again, it says it in the show, he's in a time warp. He's not actually in the tube. Plus, in Turbo, Larigo was supposed to free him. Oh, sorry. So
yeah,
Larigo is supposed to free him in Turbo.
uh,
So he's not even supposed to be in the tube. So,
yeah,
oh, oops. Sorry, in space, you messed up a little bit. But anyway, let's go.
yeah. One more point since we're saying that. And some people will argue this, okay? And this is very much a nerdy Power Ranger thing because they'll like, oh, if Zordon's not in the tube, how can he transfer his energy to the Green Ranger to charge up his powers? Because that's what they did for like 6 months because they
Yeah.
needed to
Yeah.
fill out the TV show. That's why.
That's
That's
right.
exactly
Yeah.
why. And if he
Those
could transfer energy, you could kind of make that argument during the whole season because they're draining the energy that's in the tube of him, right? So
theoretically, yes.
I mean, you're draining technically, you're draining the Green Ranger powers and you're draining the White Ranger powers because the White Ranger powers are quote unquote based on Zordon and whatever. His core energy is the White Ranger.
Yes.
So you got there. Next point is Andros becoming the new team leader. What did you think of that?
Well, it makes plenty of sense. He was the captain of his ship. That's why I look at it. He was the captain of this ship. The other ones are just stowaways, basically, because he was out doing the whole spying business and they entered the ship with nobody in there. So, he was the captain. Makes
You
sense to
think
me.
You think he was a good lead? As okay, let's give him the focus of the show because it becomes very much the Andros show.
It does, and yeah, I think it's actually a really good point you made there. It is actually his Power Rangers show. It's his journey because uh depending on the bullet points, I don't remember them offhand, but
Yeah,
there's like three storylines in this whole thing besides the Zordon story. There was three
yeah,
little storylines in between and all based around him. So
yeah,
it's really is his Power Ranger tale. And
yeah.
I think it was great. I think it's great.
I give him credit for being versatile actors too. No, nobody. I've actually never seen anybody review the show and give credit to the actors for the status quo change because you changed tones pretty hard. Turbo was very much slapsticky, and Power Rangers in Space is like your lead story is a kidnapping. Like that's a pretty stiff, dude. That's storyline one. Storyline two
Yeah,
is Zordon. You know, it's like whoa,
yeah.
easy.
This one's totally this one's adult like. Let's put it that way. This one became very adult like,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
fast, and it was very good. There
yeah,
was a lot of filler episodes, but it was really good.
yeah. The next point and is the Alliance of Evil. Now, I'll say this.
Oh
I love this. I love this because it was such a cool idea to, you know what? The hell with it. We're ending the show. We're ending the this. We're off of Fox Kids and all of these things. Where we got no more money. You know, everybody wants to move on. Let's do it as big as possible. Let's bring back the Machine Empire. Let's bring back Lord Zed. Let's bring back Rita. Let's bring back everybody. It was just
yeah.
such a cool shot. Especially, you remember the first episode when they pan over and they're like basically having like a picnic in space,
Oh yeah.
uh, and you see
They're
all of the bad guys. That was fucking
yeah
awesome.
yeah
Sorry, not to curse.
they're having the table moment,
Yeah,
perfect
yeah,
table picture, as everybody knows of it. Yeah, yeah. No, it was awesome. I liked it. I don't remember Turbo very well, but I thought they destroyed King Mondo in Turbo or something.
yeah.
Yeah. So
They put
that
a
kind of
Lord Zed did it. Lord
yeah.
Zed
So
gave him like a present with a detonator in it,
yeah. So that's what confused me when I
and
saw
they
that
drove
this
off
time.
in a Winnebago. Yeah, and they drove off in
Yeah.
a Winnebago.
Hmm.
So this kind of says that they could keep rebuilding themselves, the machine, because King Mondo and Zeo dies like 2 3 times, you
Yeah.
know. So he just keeps getting rebuilt.
Yeah.
The the next point, Dark Spectre slash Malagor. What did you think of
Oh,
that?
oh, it's again, it's just repurposing a good-looking bad guy, and I thought, the idea behind him again, perfect idea for the show. Let's take him as the main bad guy, the dictatorist, and let's change him into I'm taking Zordon for everything and making him
Yeah,
nothing, and I'm gonna kill
but
him and real, use it to use for the universe. Rule the universe. There we go. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a good idea.
yeah. It was. I think the coolest idea, not so much the character, but the point that they make him sort of a Galactus character. Like he's not your average like 6 foot bad guy. No, this guy's literally planet size. Like he's Galactus. He's Unicron. He is literally a world eater. You know what I mean? He's a giant freaking. He's standing next to a planet. Like you know what I mean? So I like that's scaling up to excessive proportions because no Megazord could ever stand up to the Dark Spectre. So
No.
I like that. Just makes it more imposing as a
Hey,
creator. As you know.
you know what? There's a HasLab for you. There's a
Hey,
HasLab.
hey, man, I made Mascara Fighters. I can make the damn Haslab if they give me the ball to run with it. I'll do
Y-
it. uh,
Yeah.
next point, the teams, TJ, Cassie, Ashley, and Carlos, their evolution. What did you think of their character arcs and like moving forward? Because this is pretty much wrapping all of them up, except for Cassie, because that's in Lost Galaxy. But their
Yeah.
evolution. What did you think?
Well, I think the evolution between TJ being a leader down to a I don't know what you would call it, a co-pilot in this case. He's not the leader, but he's like the next one down.
Yeah,
I think he did a good job because when you become a leader or something, naturally you don't want to give that up. You want to stay that way because you're used to running the team a certain way. and
Yeah,
it's your team. He brought up his team to be told, "Nope, I'm the leader.
yeah,
You're not the leader no more. Now you're the Blue Ranger, not the Red Ranger." And I think it was a great idea. For the rest of them, it seems like they just kind of fell in line. They did
yeah,
a good transfer real fast. Cassie,
yeah,
like you said, has one more season. I have to watch that one next, but yeah,
yeah. Uh, as far as their evolution, I think one thing that really helps the change in the status quo and their evolution and everything is the changing of sets. Because, like we said at the literally right at the first minute of our show, they only went to high school for one episode. This show is not based in high school. This
no,
show, this the whole set, the whole premise is in space. Everything happens basically on Andro's ship,
hmm
right? And you
basically,
teleport to different planets and whatever, and once in a while you pass by Earth.
yeah,
you know, to like get clean underwear or something. But the point is, you're living in space. Everything is in space. So it would make sense that Andros would lead because it is his ship. It's like sort of your landlord, and I think it helps with that structural change because that's a hard change too. Because
it
like you're
is.
saying, you make a good point. Like on Earth, TJ's the Red Ranger. He's the leader.
Hmm
This is his team. He's still the leader when they go into space. He stops being the leader once they get new powers. But you know,
Exactly.
he's the one that helps with the others to get them the space shuttle with TJ with the kid. What's his face? With Justin and everything. So he's still technically their leader, quote unquote. It's just the mission is changed because of Andros. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah. Andros's missions. Yeah.
uh,
Um,
Yeah, the next bullet point is Zordon being captured and Chase. What did you think of that as the theme? Because that is the theme of the show. It's Chase is trying to find Zordon and free him from whatever capture he's in.
the theme overall, trying to find Zordon to save humanity, pretty much in this case, was limited in the show. Really, I mean, it's the base of the show is that, but in reality, it does not focus on it too much. It kind of goes left a lot. We got to find what planet he's on, this and that, and this and that. But overall, it's really about Andros finding Crone. Overall,
Yeah,
that's the whole show. It's all about Crone and
well,
Andros.
that's storyline one. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But the Zordon storyline exactly that. Again, you have to look at it. This is supposed to be the very last Power Ranger show ever made. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. It wasn't, but it was supposed to be. Um, you know what? I really wish this one was. This would have been a
yeah,
great ending to it. But that's another side note.
yeah,
No, overall, I think they did a great job. They went to different planets looking for him with little, I call it the Ghostbuster finding stuff. Ding, 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 kind of stuff.
yeah,
And getting distracted, getting things happening to him. They did a good job. They had a good thing. Like I said, there was a few filler episodes where they had nothing to do with anything. It was just there to fill in the gaps of, we don't have enough episodes. Let's add
yeah,
these.
yeah. Because this show was on 5 days a week. This
Yeah.
was when this was when Power Rangers was doing 1 year, one season. That's it. It wasn't like now. Even the Neo Saban era. You remember Power Rangers Samurai? That was one season split up into 2.5 years, and that
Oh
was done
wow.
on a rush. Yeah, that was done on a rush job because their contractual obligations with Nickelodeon and basically things change. But this was you had to get it out. Whatever you're doing, you have to be done by the end of the year. So
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense there. Uh, Next point is Ecliptor and Arconda. They're
Oh
basically, they're snatchers. One of them
yes.
is the snatcher, and the other one races the. I don't want to get flagged or anything, but we get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like the point is
Yes.
made.
It's the
So
one that
so
one took Kurai,
yeah,
literally took
yeah,
Quran. I mean Quran, sorry, took Quran,
yeah,
and the other one just said, "Hey, she's my new daughter slash
yeah, yeah,
princess."
yeah,
You know, yeah,
yeah,
it's very dark, very evil,
yeah,
yeah, adult like, and it's something I was not expecting to see.
yeah.
Um, because even as a kid, like I said, I didn't even get that far as a kid when I was watching it originally, because I got into music, like I said, but it was
Mm.
just like, really, this is supposed to be a kid show. I loved it though as an adult. I thought it was great, and I could see why now, looking at it now,
It's a
why
strong
people say
theme.
why
You know,
some
it's
people say this is the
very
best.
strong.
some people say this is the best season of Power Rangers. Is this one? And I can understand it in the adult sense. As a kid sense, I don't know, but as an adult now, I could see it. You
Yeah,
know, just that storyline alone. You know, kidnapping a family member in such a need of knowing that his sister's alive and knowing it somehow because they're connected. You know, with this alien power and little locket
yeah.
situation. But yeah, it's a great storyline. And what do you
But they
think of it?
their relation, look, the two main bad guys, Darkonda and the Ecliptor, their relationship is weird. Like they both hate each other, but one
Mhm.
is more honorable about his hatred, and he's like, "Oh, I want to raise the daughter we kidnapped," and the other one is like, "Oh, I'm gonna tease everybody about the daughter that grew up that was, you know what I mean?" It's a very I don't know, it's very disgust in a lot of ways. It's pretty disgusting, the
It
theme
is.
itself, but
Well,
the relationship is like, and you figure if they would have had more time, or if this would have been an older show, if it would have been rated teen, because this was still in the PG days, you know,
yes.
maybe they could have explained why, because it seemed like Darkonda hates Ecliptor a lot more than Ecliptor hates Darkonda, right? And
Yeah.
he runs that he Darkonda runs after Ecliptor, and he like fuses with him, or he'll grab him, and when the Rangers are gonna attack, he uses him as a body shield, or he Ecliptor is usually the fall guy for all of these stuff,
Yep.
even if he's the badass. He's technically
Exactly.
Goldar to Rito, whatever, but
Uh-huh.
it happens. Like you have to figure that. And here's a little side point. This story actually already happened. This was very strong for like children's television and everything, but we had already done it in the 80s when they did it with He-Man. You remember the She-Ra storyline is basically this. They kidnapped the baby
Oh
daughter.
yeah.
It's the exact same
Exactly.
thing, but it made a lot more sense, and they were really good about storytelling then,
Uh-huh.
because Hordak wanted the kingdom of King Randor and all of, and that's why he stole the He-Man's twin sister or whatever, and that's why they went here. Here, there's really there's no reason why you
No.
would capture Corone. You, there she is. Let's capture her. And okay, Dark Spectre. You capture them. You give her to the two bad guys. The two bad guys, more or less, are her surrogate parents or whatever, and they kind of raise her on and off, right?
Mhm.
Mostly Ecliptor, but that's basically
Yeah.
the theme. But there's no reason why. What makes Andros so damn special that you have to get into his bloodline? Is there a castle? Is there what are you chasing? That's one thing that kind of was like hanging, because they could have captured Andros too. It didn't have to be the Corona. It would have been different, and I know it would have changed the status of having a female led Power Ranger team back then. But
Yeah.
literally they don't tell you what's so special about Corone to make her the Empress of Evil, and this and this and that, and make her basically the queen of all of the villains, because that's what they basically tell you in episode one. Like Rita literally attacks her with her staff, and Corone just grabs that shit and throws it in the floor. Like, oh, this shit ain't
Mhm.
nothing. You know what I mean? Like, she's the most
Yeah.
baddest of the baddest.
She is.
Why? But
Uh
why? You know what I mean?
well,
Like,
if you look at the childhood play scenes where they show him playing with Corone and they have that little floating orb and they're making him move back and forth, they already have like alien
telekinesis.
powers,
Yeah, they have
telekinesis
telekinesis.
powers. And then they were at one point in the show, he's talking about how they were both wanting to be Power Rangers when they grew up. So they must have a Power Ranger bloodline somewhere in their family if they want to be a Power Ranger because they're chosen.
Maybe.
They're chosen. Power Rangers are chosen.
Yeah.
So and as far as I know, there's only two Power Rangers from his planet theoretically. Him and the Silver Ranger. So
Well, that's
yeah,
that's a that's another point, but it's just, now that you say that, you make a good point about the telekinesis thing. All of the people on Andros planet have that. So
yeah.
out of an entire planet, you could have picked absolutely anyone, and you didn't have to technically kidnap the daughter or whatever. You could have just kidnapped a 20-year-old girl. I'm
Okay,
not saying,
well,
for
yeah, yeah.
storyline purpose, for their powers, a 20-year-old person, for what is it, KO 35 or whatever the
AO
planet is.
35, yes.
Yeah, You could have just captured a 20-year-old girl that and start your evil right now.
Okay.
I go for more the this goes really into the series creator for me, you know what I mean? Like
Well,
what's your
well,
motivation? What are you
let
doing,
me.
you know?
I think I know the motivation here. Well, let's look at the bad guys of Power Rangers first of all. Most of the time, it's a female. Most of the time.
Yeah.
In this case, let's get a young girl that's easy to be manipulated. Okay, because young kids are
Yeah.
easy to manipulate. Let's make her think that her parents died. So that's gonna give you bad thoughts, bad evil thoughts, right? You're gonna get these emotions of sadness and all this. Let's make sure you know that even your brother that you were playing with all of a sudden is gone too. And let's program you to be the way we want you to be.
Yeah.
So you become the most evil, hatred person in the universe because you just think that all this bad stuff happened and this guy over here brought you and raised you up to be who you are, the princess of evil.
Well, yeah, the thing is she makes everybody seem small right in episode 1 with the whole Rita
Yeah.
thing. So
Well,
if she could beat up Rita, she could technically beat up the other bad guys, right? She could beat up Diva Talk.
oh sure.
She talks to Diva Talks like Diva Talks is absolutely nothing. Like yeah,
Well,
right, whatever, bitch. You know, like yeah, yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
is. She is. She's a space pirate. She is. She is
Yeah,
absolutely nothing.
get this old hag away from me. Get this old pirate
Right.
hag away from me.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because
if you think about it though, and this is kind of the funny thing, let's talk about like evolution. You got Rita, right? Rita's
yeah,
from the dinosaur era.
yeah,
Literally, if you look at the Sentai version, you know, her kid dies, she sells her soul to the I'm sorry, this is weird. She sells her soul to Satan, basically, in the Sentai version, and becomes Rita.
yeah.
David
That's
David
Lokar or whatever in this in our show, right? That's the
yeah,
floating
yeah.
head
That's the floating head.
with the spikes on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. In Turbo, we got Diva Talks, that is just a space pirate. Literally, she's a space pirate. That's all she is an evil space pirate. Not very much any magic at all. You know, so yeah, Corone has been raised from a little kid to learn all this evilness. Where
yeah.
Rita was told, you know, to save your, to forget about your child and all this, you sell, and I'll give you all these magical powers. You can revenge your hatred to the dinosaurs.
Hmm.
Literally, that's what it was. It's to the dinosaurs and the Sentai. Diva Talks, I don't know. I don't know much about Diva Talks' actual heavy backstory. I don't think they ever really got into it.
Yeah,
And then the robots, King Mondo and the Queen, that's
yeah,
nothing really too special, you know, because they're robots. All you gotta just turn them off in some way or another, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, so I can see how she could be the most powerful person. You know, you growing up just learning everything day in, day out, you know. I mean
yeah.
that's like anything, playing music. I played music for since I was 10. I can play almost anything. Toy making. You do toy making, you've been doing it for years, you understand the ins and outs.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be any difference if you were an evil genius, you know, from like let's see, what was a good show that had an evil genius? I guess Phineas and Ferb. That's the only one I can think of in my top of my head. But there's a
Every
lot of
show
them.
ever, every show ever.
Right?
Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh yeah, he was. I guess theoretically, yeah, evil
The
boy
Big Bang
genius.
Theory. I mean, every show ever has an evil genius. You
Yeah,
know. Uh,
but you see the point that I mean, she grew up in it. Well, the rest of them are
yeah,
just
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's her whole training. Her whole it's 18
yeah,
years of poison basically, or 19, whatever you want to call it.
yeah. So
Because she's yeah,
I can see that by story plot how that could work out.
yeah. Well, see, if they would have made it a little clearer, or something, Caron's blood is, I don't know, magical or something, that
Oh
something a little
yeah,
more. You know what I mean? We don't. Another, since we're talking, it's important to talk about, because it's a point that I wrote here. But stronger tones. This is a lot of stronger tones. And one thing nobody I've ever seen anybody talk about: where the hell are the parents of Caron and Andrews?
that is a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. And they might have shown them at one point, and they just didn't say anything about it, like they were supposed to or something. Because
I
there's an
know, but
episode.
you know what I mean. You figure
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
This is your
You
storyline one.
you
Where the
would
hell are the
think, yeah.
parents? You know.
That's a good question. Maybe they did die after a while. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, I mean, they do find the people of that planet. later
Yeah,
on in the show, and they do go return back to the home planet as well at the end of the show. So again,
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, what did you think about Astronomer's story arc throughout the whole show in general? Like, because she goes from evil to not evil to falling in love with Zane, and then worrying about her brother, and then going back to being evil because she has that little chip on her head that she goes turns around and becomes good, and then at the end she like. What did you think of her whole story? Like,
Okay, so from start to finish, let's just start with the start.
because she's
Nobody
the
knows.
second lead of the show. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't know that she's related to the Power Ranger at all. Yeah, Astronomer. I think she did a great job as Astronomer, the actress. I mean,
yeah. Melanie
it
Griffith.
was really really good. And when she became Corona again as the adult, that you could tell there was a personality change. It wasn't just like, oh, they're trying to become a good, bad, good, bad. No, there was an actual acting,
Yeah,
psychological thing there. And I'm just like, holy crap, she pulled it off. She did the Batman and Bruce Wayne, the Superman and I lost his name. Anyways, but yeah, you get the point. Peter
Clark
Parker
Kent.
and
Yeah,
Clark Kent. It's Peter Parker and Spider Man. She did a really good job on that. I mean, it was like a 1-to-1 difference, and the whole look changes too. And I love that. I love how all of a sudden she has blonde hair and normal looking, and then when she's in her average evil clothes, it's like
yeah.
latex and purple hair, blonde hair, red hair. It just all depends, and it's just like two different people, two different
Yeah,
actresses, but they're the same actress.
yeah. I have the two lightning figures of Astronomer, and they're two completely different looks. So there was a running change in the show, not just for her wig, but her actual outfit. Like in some
Yes.
scenes, she's wearing the big power glove. Sometimes she's
Hmm.
wearing two power gloves. Sometimes she has the boomerang thing that you throw. She
Oh
she had a
yes.
lot of like changing outfits. It wasn't like Rita. Rita had one dress and that was it.
Yeah.
Rita, Rita
Yeah.
had that one brown dress. That's it.
That's right. That's right. And then when it comes to Zayn and her,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
funny because that's oh so realistic, so realistic. You know, he falls in love with her, her falls in love with him, and he's supposed to meet up, and then her stupid henchmen decide to do this, and he becomes late to the party, to their date, and she gets all pissy, and even he goes, "I showed up, didn't I? Didn't I?" And it's reality. That's just a reality situation where a man is on its way to do something, and something comes up, and all of a sudden, oh, sorry, I'm late, but you're still there. And I actually did show up, but now you hate me because I didn't show up on time. But at the
yeah,
end, they still love each other. They still have this love for each other, and it goes all the way through the end of the show, and it was kind of neat.
yeah. You see that, and there's actual resolution here because
Yeah,
Corone doesn't get stood up. He ends up showing up late, but he still shows up. He's with the
exactly.
flowers, and she throws some electricity at him, destroying the flowers, right? But
She
there
was
was
mad.
resolution. He
Mhm.
still made it. He still
He
made it.
still made it, yes,
It's
but
not like he actually stood her up. He made it. He was late as shit, sure, but he
yeah.
wasn't. He didn't
But
stand her up,
as you know, and I know, as men, women don't like to have that long wait. They don't mind a few minutes, but when
man.
it's super long, they're gonna be mad at you. It could be something
Man,
so easy as, oh, I forgot to do this. I'll be right back. Oh man, they're just yeah.
oh man, the things I could tell you, bro. But then,
Things I already know. Believe me, I'm pretty sure I know them
man,
already. But
oh man, I'm going through some things. Jesus, bro. Jesus and Buddha, Buddha,
right,
all of them. But I digress because it's entertainment, and let's have some fun with this. The next point, Zane himself, since we're kind of touching on Zane. What did you think of Zane's storyline from being, a friend and partner to Andros to basically getting in a coma and being frozen for like 7 years in space and then coming out of the
so
coma, having the whole recharging thing? What did you think?
okay, so I think the whole Six Ranger thing is always cool. Let's just
Yeah.
drop it right there. The Six Ranger thing is always cool. The Frozen thing, I understood. It's kind of like the Mister Freeze and Mrs. Freeze's right.
Yeah, he's in a
Situation.
coma. So, yeah.
Yeah, and he wants to save his friend. His friend's still alive, still in the Power Rangers Silver suit. I think that was kind of cool. Uh, But after he's defrosted and comes back and all that, and his powers are weak, reminds me of the Green Ranger again. You know, the Zordon thing with
Yeah.
the Green Ranger. But except all this guy got to do is go get himself electrocuted.
I love that. I actually
You
love that
know?
because that was a 2 episode problem, and we
Uh
fixed it.
huh. Yeah.
It wasn't this
Eh,
bullshit like you have to stretch out the Green Ranger. Oh, we got to fill out 14 more episodes of this, and he got the powers, and Zordon. No, you got the
yeah.
electrical charge, and yeah, we're out of there. You
Yeah.
said your
Exactly.
story, and you move on.
No, I
Yeah,
like I like that. I was just like, that whole same basic idea. You need to recharge. It was the same. It popped in my head like, oh, it's a Green Ranger story again, but quicker. Like you
yeah,
said, 2 episodes. Uh, and of course, he's the strongest Ranger again. So the Silver Ranger, the most powerful Ranger ever.
yeah.
Wait, what? How did he become the most powerful Ranger ever? I'm sure there's ones that could probably still kick his ass somewhere. Another Ranger somewhere in another
Well,
location. You
well, he
know,
made it through like a 7 year coma, so you got to be pretty strong to wake up out of a 7 year coma and start whooping ass.
right?
Like the
Yeah.
first thing you don't even take a piss. The first thing you do is start just whooping ass because there's these little Ewoks all over the ship. It's like, bah, 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 so,
Well, I'm
hey,
surprised
bro,
he
like,
could. I'm surprised he could even walk. Honestly, because
yeah,
when
muscle
you like
muscle
muscle
damage
was the
and
yeah,
tissue, yeah,
but I
soft
guess,
tissue and all that.
but I, but I guess the power did protect him though, right? Because he was in his
Yeah,
uniform the whole time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You
So
know,
that, so
I love what I love when he got the electrical charge because it was very much a throwback to the He-Man thing because when He-Man
oh, it
grabs his
was.
sword, I have the power, and then you see the electrical lightning kit.
Uh
You
huh.
know, I love that. It was such a callback to He-Man, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
another He-Man reference. So
Oh yeah. I mean, come on. Everything's gonna be referenced from somewhere or another.
yeah,
And it's
but
always gonna be that way from now on too.
that's a very here and here type thing, you know.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
All right, the next point. And what did you think of the Zords? The Astro Megazord, the Delta, the Mega Voyager,
Oh,
and the Mega Winger. The
let's
Zords.
start with the most controversial one, the Astro Megazord, and this is why it's controversial. We got a spaceship for the head, right? The spaceship they took out to space is the head of the spaceship,
Yeah,
or the head of the Megazord. But that spaceship was built from, I think it was Alpha that built it, if I remember right. But it was had nothing to do with the actual Megazord
yeah,
originally. It was just a spaceship to take him up to space to find Zordon. So how did that become a Megazord inside of the Megazord? It's
well,
like
yeah,
there's a plot right there that's like not explained. It's like this ship got docked. Okay, you can dock a ship into another ship. I understand that they do it all the time with Harry, with carriers for the military and stuff. Fine, but how did that ship, that Alpha build, make it into the head of the Megazord? It wasn't supposed to be a Megazord. It was just supposed to be a spaceship. And then the Astro spaceship was a Megazord that even Andros didn't even know was a Megazord. You
yeah.
know?
I think that was a lost in translation thing
Yeah,
because there's some lines like you're saying. You're very right, and you make a strong point. But there's some lines when Justin is talking to the NASA people, NASADA, whatever. He's like,
mhm,
"Oh, we need a ship." How did he know to give him the right ship? Because Zordon's been in
exactly.
contact with the Rangers. All Justin says to the guy in the previous season is, "Hey, it's for the Power Rangers." And oh shit, okay, yeah, sure. Here's the keys to
Right.
the ship. All
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
bro. If bro really like if some 12-year-old
So
comes up to you and says it's for the Power Rangers, you're gonna give them the keys to your car or oh I need your credit card information. It's for the Power Rangers. Well,
yeah.
sure, no, bro.
So yeah, I mean there is a lot right there that, besides that little
Some
thing
wonky
there,
lines, yeah,
besides that little thing, that is actually again, that is the main Megazord, but they made it actually one of the most
yeah.
weakest Megazords in the show, if that makes any sense. It's the
I thought
it's
it
the
was such
main
a cool
Megazord.
look when you
It
see
it,
that
it,
thing. It's
it is
such
a
a
cool
cool
look.
look.
But it's the weakest one in the show. Out of the 3 that they have, that one's the most weakest. It's the one that has less power. I think it's the most interesting thing too, because usually the main Megazord is supposed to be the most powerful Megazord, and you connect everything else to it, it makes it even more powerful. And this is like, oh, by itself, after a while, it just can't stand up by itself. It has to have this new Megazord that comes from the I think it was from the moon. Wasn't it from the moon, or was it from a different planet? The second one.
The the Delta the
Yeah, the
Del
Delta.
the Delta one is sort of a mystery because the Delta's technically the Zord of the Phantom Ranger. Remember?
Oh
Because the
no,
Phantom
not
Ranger.
not. Not the Delta one, the third one. Sorry, yes, the third one.
Oh,
The Delta one is
the the Delta is a Phantom Ranger Zord,
yeah, the
just like
Phantom
the
Ranger.
Rescue Zords from the season before. So
Yeah.
one I think you're thinking about is the White Rangers one, the Mega Winger, right? The white
No,
one.
no. Oh no,
This
there's
one,
four. There's four of them. Then there's the
yeah,
Phantom one, the Astro, the
yeah.
Mega
The,
Ringer, and then there's one that comes out of
the
like the
Mega
moon.
the Mega
Mega
Voyager is
Voyager. Voyager.
the one
Yes,
that's five Zords instead of
the
one.
one that's
Yeah,
five Zords. Yeah, and
yeah.
the Voyager is actually more stronger than the Astro Megazord. I found it kind of funny because I think the Voyager Zord actually comes from a whole different series of Sentai. Doesn't
No,
even
no,
come from the space.
it's that one. It's just with this Power Ranger season, they didn't uh they didn't do the Ultra Zord thing. That's what you're confusing because there's no combination between the regular Megazord and the secondary Megazord. Like there
No,
should be. Like
there should be.
there's no Mega Dragon Zord. You get the
No.
combination of the Astro Megazord and the Delta Megazord, which is basically like the Delta Megazord turning to a million pieces and
Yeah.
becoming like armor for the Astro Megazord.
Hmm.
But it's not. It should, you know what I mean? Because there's nobody piloting the Delta one except for like this
Yes,
battleizer
Andros.
type thing.
Andros
Yeah,
battle. Do this, do that. Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it is Phantom Ranger Zord 100%. And
And
so
I have the Zords itself. I actually kind of like the progression that they did with the Zords, and I think the Zords itself is kind of neat because I don't think from the from the time period you don't see that many Zords, and you don't really see anybody really controlling them just by their wrist movements or talking to it or whatever. And I think that's cool. And having a secondary Megazord that they could put together if the
yeah,
Astro Megazord has issues is cool. And then of course Zane has his Zord of his own, and it does stuff too, combines with the other ones, and it's a good thing. I just think they could have done a lot more with them, but
yeah,
again, they were limited to Sentai footage. They're limited to what they can do outside of the toy making, because they had just the molds from Bandai of Japan to use for
yeah,
Bandai of America.
yeah.
So I understand overall the difference of the Zord's abilities, and I think overall I think they did a good job.
Yeah, their Zords were interesting. Number one, since we're talking about the Zord specifically, the Astro Megazord, it's a one Zord,
Yes.
basically. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't combine with anything else because that little ship, the Nasada ship that turns into the head, that's not going to combine with anything else.
No.
It is literally one thing. And this reminds me so much of something we saw last year of the Power Rangers, the Cosmic Fury,
Mm-hmm.
when towards the end when the dinosaur girl Solon, she remembers, oh yeah, this base used to be a ship and we used to be in space. Oh, that was a million years ago. I forgot, bro. Yeah, oh my god, that
Right?
literally, oh, I forgot this Zord, this ship can turn into a Megazord, and we had some sort of no, bro. You can understand it more with the cosmic thing because this is 10,000 years ago, whatever, when the dinosaurs were here. But this is like 6, 7 years ago that you forgot that your house turns into a robot. You got some memory loss problems. I'm sorry.
We haven't talked about that yet, Cosmic Fury, but that in depth. But wouldn't it have been funny? Just a little side note. Wouldn't it be funny if that was the Astro Megazord? Like they showed it as an Astro Megazord at the end.
I
That would have
thought
been funny. That
it
would have
would
been
have.
funny.
There's the tightness of the budget, and there's also the tightness of the time because if you said that, okay, fine, the Stonehenge, whatever, the Cosmic Fury, their home, right? The Dino Fury home.
Yeah, Dino Fury.
They it could turn into a spaceship. Why doesn't that spaceship turn into a Megazord?
Right?
That was literally part of what they did 12 years ago when they did Megaforce, or when Gosei was like, hey, you know this rock? This is part of a ship, and this is the Gosei Grand or whatever. Oh yeah, this part
Yeah.
of the mountain is this Megazord too, and it like, bro, if you're gonna, the suspension of disbelief, and I know this is made for a younger audience, but this was exactly made for our audience because we're talking about a show from what, 90, 96, 97.
Something
This
like
was
that. Yeah.
this was exactly our generation of a show. So I don't know, people got dumber or smarter, but What are we doing here? You know what I mean? It's a different world.
I don't know. I mean, space. I mean, geez. I mean, if I could like go back in time and be like, hey, no, you need to keep space for 30 years later, and use space for
Yeah,
the very last season because it would have made more sense than the way they did Cosmic Fury, the
yeah,
ending of Cosmic Fury. But back to the Megazords and stuff. I think overall, I loved it. I loved it. If I could find the actual collection of probably the Japanese versions because they just
yeah,
have more details usually than the American versions do. The more American version details are stickers that have nothing to do with the show. I could prove it
yeah,
with my Tiger Zord later if you want to see it next time. Um, but yeah, it's I think they did a great job, honestly. And the difference of power levels. It's not like, oh, this is a Megazord, this is a Megazord. There's no
yeah.
difference. You know, they have different power levels, they have different uses and
You know,
different ending fight scenes too. They didn't just go,
yeah,
"Oh, this one has a power sword. This one has a power sword. This one has." No, they all have different endings to them. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. The Mega Voyager throws a missile at you. That's pretty much a WMD, bro.
Yeah.
Basically, they're
Yeah.
throwing that
Exactly.
they're throwing that W at you, bro. That's you know what I think here is sort of a not a letdown, but sort of like a missed opportunity. Is that there was no carrier Zord, there was no uh, big Ultra Zord thing. There's no combination because the only other combination in the show is the Mega Winger's wings.
Oh yeah.
They could be taken off,
Uh huh.
and they were used in the Delta Mega the Mega Voyager Megazord
Yeah.
the wings,
Yeah. The
but
rings.
this doesn't actually connect. It's just the little backpack thing.
Hmm.
And there's footage also of I think there's footage, but it's Sentai versions. We didn't get footage of the wings on the Astro Megazord here. We didn't get that. Uh,
No.
anything else you want to say on the Zords, or you
No.
ready to move on?
Let's move on.
All right. Next point. The guest stars: Justin, Adam, the Ninja Turtles, the Phantom Rangers, Zordon. You
Oh
had a
no.
lot of cameos in this show.
Okay. The Phantom Ranger was needed. That one I'm okay with.
Yeah,
Zordon, well, of course, he's part of the plot, so he's needed.
yeah.
Uh, Justin.
Justin.
Let's start with Justin because that one bugs me. They lost the turbo powers, right? They lost the turbo powers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They lost their
They lost the
connection to
turbo
the
powers.
powers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but somehow the vehicle Star Blaster. I think it's Star Blaster. Is that what it's called? Star Blaster, the
yeah,
blue
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Drives up to Justin's house. He gets in, and the thing
And
opens
the
up,
other
and
one's
there's his
desert
morpher,
something. Yeah,
Desert
yeah,
Storm, and then the morpher's right there for Justin. He can morph back into the turbo. I'm just thinking, why? How does that work? But the other Turbo Rangers can't morph into their turbo suits.
yeah. That was
Why are you? That's a filler episode. That is just a pure filler episode to bring back a character that everybody was like they should have put him in space with them because that's what it was. It was that whole Green Ranger thing again. You're killing off the Green Ranger. Why are you doing that? So they brought back the Green Ranger for a few episodes. Same thing with Justin.
also
Everybody was
yeah,
upset about Justin not being a new Space Ranger, so let's put him back in his turbo uniform and make him save the day one day. And it's like, and then when I'm watching, I'm going, that makes no
yeah.
sense. That makes no sense. They lost the powers. That's why they went up to space because they lost the powers, and they're trying to rescue Zordon. If they didn't lose the powers, they could have just morphed and flew up in the Megazord or something, the Turbo Megazord. And
Yeah.
but no, they decided to give him his powers back. Now, when it comes to
Well,
Adam, this is my opinion.
yeah.
When it comes to Adam, he was warned not to use his powers. You could see the morpher all broken and all
Well,
that. And I loved it. I loved it because he had the risk of killing himself. And again, it's more adult like, but
stronger
he
tones.
knew
Yeah.
stronger tones. He knew he could have died doing it. And you see his suit go on and off, on and off. And again, it's the Black Ranger, not the frog. It's the Mastodon. So there's
Hmm.
this something different too. Again, you're going back from Mastodon and not the frog because I don't remember what happened from. Oh, there was no destroy. They could have used the frog. Have Adam as his frog character instead of using the Mastodon because theoretically, from uh the Zeo, the frog, or from the frog to Zeo, as far as I know, no, that did get destroyed. Sorry,
Well,
but
okay.
yeah, it's
Hold
it's
on. Let me jump in there to kind of end each get. the Justin thing that you were saying, I think there it was just a timing issue. Like, you know what? We don't have any explanation. He just has a backup copy of the powers of in the dashboard, basically. You know,
Yeah, glove
because oh my god,
department. Yeah.
you're yeah, in the glove compartment, it's the stupidest thing. Like, you're fighting this whole show, you're doing these whole things, and then oh whoops, I had a spare key in there. I had a spare morpher in there. Whoops. Okay, so that was, I think it's also for timing because this show goes very fast.
It
A
does.
lot of things have to happen in these whatever 50 episodes or so. A lot of stories have to be wrap up. You have to give some closure to Justin. You have to do this. You have to do that. So I think it was just a timing thing. Like, let's go, let's go, let's give him his power. Let's just be done with it. Only he has it. And you could make an argument that the red Corvette TJ can probably turn into the red Turbo Ranger again if he has
Oh,
a backup
I was
copy
gonna
as well.
say that because in the Forever Red, he was Turbo,
Yeah,
so he probably
yeah.
got.
So
There's the link right there. He got the key back
there's
in
head canon.
space. There's the space right there. He got it when he was in space. Grabbed it from his car and said, "I'll use you when I need you."
Yeah, yeah. That's the backup. That's the backup keys. All right.
Yeah, there you go. There's the canon part of that Forever Red
Yeah, yeah,
episode.
yeah. That you're saying about the Atom thing. The Atom thing. The coins were depowered, right? If I remember correctly, that's why they had to
They will.
go. They were destroyed, and they had to go into Ninjor and get those. And then those key coins were destroyed by Goldar, and then they turned them all into kids. And then we had the
Yeah.
chasing the Zeo crystal thing for the Alien Rangers.
So
So
yeah,
there's that.
when it comes to the Mastodon or just that part of the story plot,
They can be
yeah,
vague because it's a cool costume.
yeah.
Let's be real.
No,
They
it
can
is
be
a cool.
vague because it's
It's
a
a
cool
class.
costume.
It's a classic costume. Yes. So yeah. As far as I remember, the power command center blew up and that destroyed the power. They had to go find Ninjor to get their powers back. I really wish they didn't ever use Ninjor. I wish they just kept the movie stuff. For it could be organic, 'cause it made more sense. Um, and that would give them back their main suit, but it wasn't the Mastodon at that point. It would be the frog. But I think in the show it was still Mastodon, Pterodactyl, and all that in the actual TV show.
Yeah, they
Um,
late into season three, they did that weird shift where they stopped saying the names and they just said Red Ranger power, Black Ranger power, Green
yeah,
Ranger power. Like, nobody wants to hear that shit.
no, it's because
Mastodon, pterodactyl,
it's
triceratops.
because they would have had to go from Mastodon to Frog, Crane,
But you
Falcon, or
could
whatever. It would
okay,
have
but
worked.
look, you have some cool names like the 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 Red Dragon Thunderzord. Nobody's
Mhm.
ever gonna morph say Red Dragon Zord. They're gonna say Tyrannosaurus. And if
Yeah,
Tyrannosaurus is the base suit you're using anyways, you might as well just keep saying Tyrannosaurus. I thought that was
exactly.
weird,
But
and
yeah, so
but
yeah,
that's
at
that.
the end of that, yeah, they I don't say the power coins got destroyed. I just know the morphing grid of that grid
Yeah,
part got destroyed. So
because I
when
remember
Adam,
Goldar turning it into sand. Remember when
yeah,
Goldar had all the coins and he just like fuck
uh huh.
it.
So finding the
He just grabs the coins and turns them to shit, dude. It's like
so so Adam having the relic morpher, and
yeah,
it's just destroyed. I thought that was a cool looking morpher. I almost want to go buy another 1993 one and make it myself.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it was interesting because he got warned by Alpha. If you morph, because he said, "I'm wondering if I can morph still," and he goes, "If you morph, you might destroy yourself."
yeah.
And of course, he sees the need to morph because he got Carlos in a danger, and Carlos is scared to
Yeah,
hurt
that's
somebody
another
again.
strong
It
theme.
it
Yeah,
was yeah,
you
and
could
it
be a
made
hero,
sense.
like a gun shy hero. Cops go through stuff like that too. Cops,
Yeah,
you save somebody and then you can't save someone else, and then you get gun shy, or firemen or doctors. God forbid you perform surgery and somebody dies, and you have to go back tomorrow and do the same job again. Like
yeah,
this this reluctance thing of hurting other people. This can be rough.
yeah. But when it comes
When
to
they
Adam and the
yeah
scene that they did with him, that whole training scene, I actually thought
yeah
it was really cool to see because it was not the typical 1993. We're in the juice bar and we're pretending to learn karate. It's him
yeah
with Carlos with the blindfold on, and you listen, see what you're doing, what you're doing, what you're doing. and him getting frustrated because he's understanding it, but he's not understanding it. It's like he can't hear it, he can't focus, and that's
Yeah.
trying to get him to the point where you need to focus, see what's going on ahead of time, and try to recalculate real fast. And
Yeah.
because when he's in the battle, when Adam's in the battle in the Ranger suit, and Carlos comes back in his, and the lizard, I think it was a lizard, switches
Yeah. Yeah.
positions
The
like they
green
did
lizard.
before. He jumps on Adam's arms and bounces and hits the lizard instead. And it's a great scene. It's a great episode. I think, like I said, that episode made sense. It's just the Justin one was so much of a filler. It was not even funny. Again, it was
Yeah.
just one of those I think it was the fans going, "You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. Let's bring him back in." And like you said, have a way to bring him back in.
Yeah,
And because
just
it's in the
do it
show,
fast. Yeah.
yeah. And because it's in the show, it's canon. No matter what, it's in the show, it's canon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna obviously do an episode on this. But what did you think of the Ninja Turtles? Just like a brief thing. What
Oh
did you think of the Ninja
God.
Turtles in space?
Okay, so this is where I ended it when I was a kid. After I saw this is where I stopped watching Power Rangers 'cause I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing, and still to this day, when I saw it, I just kind of like, oh God, really? They found the Ninja Turtles in New York City. Go figure. It's just a promotion episode. It really is just that the promotion episodes for the new Ninja Turtle TV show.
Yeah, the
That's
next
what it is in
mutation.
my mind. That's all it was a promotion. Saban's making this Turtle show. Saban's Power Rangers. It's just promotion.
Since you say that, this probably shows more of a footage issue that whatever money Saban got to make these shows, Mystic Knights, Power Rangers, Beetleborgs, whatever, you could tell he put the bulk of his money into Power Rangers in Space because there's a lot of original footage here. A
Yeah,
lot. Like you're saying, the training sequence with Carlos and Adam, that was all original footage. There
that's
was
all
a
original.
lot of footage, original footage. I think the only
And
thing we actually keep during the show are the Zord battles. But
yeah,
except for the Zord battle, like even the morph, we have the flip morph where they're where they're like spinning around, but they're wearing the costume without the helmet on. And
that's Sentai.
yeah, they're doing a lot of original
Yeah,
footage. So I think that hurt the Ninja Turtles too because when they did this
yeah.
crossover, I loved it because of what it is. It's literally a
Yeah.
moment in time. It's a moment in time. It'll never happen again. You'll never
Oh
have
no.
ninjas their first crossover. You know what I mean? It's like as a kid of the '90s, you never think these two things are gonna happen. This is
Of course not.
no, never, never in a million years. And oh my God, then one day it actually freaking happens. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, no, the
there they
I did not.
are. At least a version of the
I
turtles.
didn't
Yeah,
care for that cameo stuff, but it wasn't all original footage. I'll give him that. All that stuff in the intros is all
yeah.
original. Again, good for Saban. I mean, I I don't enjoy the next mutation too much. It has good, like we've talked about before. It was good for what it is. Could be better, but again, budget. We talked about that in this show too. Budget, budget, budget.
That,
It's all about
that's
the
why I think
budget.
they put all their money in here because I have to check, but I think by this time Mystic Knights was like wrapping up because they. You remember Mystic Knights? That show
Very,
was
very,
on for like
very little.
well, it was on for like about a season and a half, and
Okay.
it was spread out throughout about 2.5 years. But still, by then, VR Troopers I think was already done. I think Beetleborgs was dead because Beetleborgs died during Power Rangers and Turbo because
Yeah,
that was Beetleborgs on its last leg. So whatever money they got to do Beetleborgs, they just pushed it over to in space. So
but don't worry,
put all your chips in there. Yeah,
Beetleborg still lived though. In Forever
yeah.
Red, Beetleborgs were in that. The green Beetleborg was in Forever Red.
Brother,
I
if
saw
Saban
that.
made a suit, he's gonna use it.
Oh my!
That's all I'm gonna
You,
say.
you, you
If,
you know what I mean though. You saw
if
that,
you got
right?
it, you use it. Yeah, if you got it,
Because
you
I
use it.
I watched that
Better to
not too
have
long
it
ago
than use
too.
it. Yeah.
I watched that like 3 weeks ago. Because I was like, I don't remember this episode, but I remember it. But I don't. I was like, that's a Beetleborg. One of the main bad guys is the Beetleborg. It was like mind blowing. It's like, okay, it's been a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. It's funny too because they use suits of the Beetleborgs of Sentai that we never got it over here. We only got
Hmm.
like the three main Beetleborgs, the black one and the white one, and then they went to the metallic. We never got that yellow one or the one that looks like a hornet with like a funny helmet with gray pieces and red. That one
Yeah.
wasn't for us, but
No.
moving on. What did you think of Bulk and Skull being used very lightly? Because they'll do 2 episodes and then you don't see them for seven, and then they come back. Oh
Uh,
yeah, we're with Professor Phononymous or whatever his name is.
I'm gonna make this very clear. I'm a big Bulk and Skull fan. I think they're the most
Yeah,
funniest people on the show, and that's what they're supposed to be. But it's a waste of time. And this show, it was just a waste of time. And I think the overall
you didn't
overall
think they fit into
character,
the story. Yeah,
I just think they were wasting time making them because they had a contract, and I think it was not a good storyline.
yeah. I think by then they were like one of them was going to college, or the other one was trying to graduate high school in real life, or they had their own things, and they had other
I
projects and stuff. But they were like obligated for like 12 episodes, so let's sprinkle them in.
Yeah, I don't know the story behind it, but I know it was just to me it was like just the most stupidest thing I've ever seen.
That
They usually
Professor
they
Phononymous
usually
thing, yeah,
yeah, they usually chase Power Rangers. They don't chase aliens. And it's like I get it,
yeah,
it's supposed to be in space, but come on, really? They still could be
yeah.
chasing Power Rangers, because they still
Here,
have them come down to Earth and all that.
here's the cute part too. They had a season where Bulk and Skull had two aliens as their maids, and now your premise in space is that they're looking for aliens in space. You've been fighting, talking, being around, living with, having maids for, and even having your car crushed by aliens for 5 years, and all of a sudden you've decided, oh
That's it.
yeah,
Like
oh
I
well,
said,
let's go
waste of
change.
time. Waste of time, man.
That
But I
was
will say the
sick.
ending of this series with Focus Skull was great.
Yeah,
The overall, we're this Power Ranger, we're that Power Ranger, and
yeah,
then
they
everybody
stand
else,
up. They stand up,
and
and that's
and they're
cool
like,
as
"We're
shit
all
to
gonna
see them do
destroy
it.
you." Then Alstromina, we're gonna destroy all you then, and then the Power Rangers come up, on the rooftop. We're the Power Rangers, and they're all looking up like, "What? Like those
Yeah,
guys?" And all of a sudden they move. They're like, "Oh my god!" Because
yeah,
they finally get to see who the real Power Rangers are. Finally after all these seasons, they finally get to
yeah.
see who it is. But
Yeah,
yeah, the main part of that plot of Bulk and Skull, I can kill us for, but the ending of the show with Bulk and Skull was great.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
They didn't fit in either. Like I've seen some people review or talk about Bogus Skull in the show, but like, where else are you gonna fit them in? Like, you have to use them sparingly. You can't cut out the Zordon stuff. There's only so
no,
many. There's 22 minutes to the show. You have to cut out something. So
I
next
know, but
point.
I think they could just sorry one more point. I just think they could
Yeah.
have done a lot better with them. They have a great acting ability, and
Oh
they could have
yeah.
done something better.
That's why they kept them around because they're the glue of the
Yeah,
show. They're the only ones that came in from episode one to the final
mhm,
episode of In Space.
yeah.
Uh, the next point is Andro's four dead Rangers, because there's four dead Rangers somewhere. Because you remember like the second or third episode, Andros just goes in, he grabs the other morphers. Hey, here, pa 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 pa. Automatically they all work. What happened to the people that were holding these morphers, bruh? Who had these
Okay.
powers? You know,
Well,
there's
the
four. There's four dead Rangers somewhere.
actually the question you should be asking is who made the powers?
Well,
Who made the
they
powers?
they kind of hinted at it with Zordon is connected, so because he says the line in the show, and you can the fans can answer in the comments or whatever, but he says like, oh, I've been in contact with Zordon and Zordon's informed me, so you got to figure Zordon, you're the first Earth Rangers. That's the line I was thinking of, because remember
Okay.
what he said, he did say that. So
Yeah,
somehow this is Zordon's backup team, basically like
basically.
SPDB. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what,
Yeah,
there's
that's a good question. Is
there's
what
four
happened to
dead
the
dudes out there, or dead girls or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, but they never even show any of the like back footage of any of the original Four Rangers. The only footage they have is him and Zane together fighting. They don't have any other Rangers in that scene.
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't know. They could have touched on that. Like, well, Zordon gave me these morphers and I just never chose anybody.
yeah,
And now that we
Zordon.
know that, something, they could have said something.
they could, yeah, but there's gotta be. Okay, look, even in Zane's story, because Zane's story opens up with him and Andros fighting in some city, and Zane gets fatally injured.
It's his
Zane,
his home
yeah,
planet.
yeah, in
His
KO
yeah.
35, he
Hmm.
gets fatally injured, and he goes into the coma. He would have to be the one that actually survived. Everybody else would have probably died in the coma. So that would technically be your argument that Zane is the strongest ranger because the other four rangers that had the pink, the black, the yellow, and the blue powers didn't make it. They died somewhere. They weren't gonna
Yeah.
kill characters off, especially here. But you killed off four characters. Let's be real. Like you got four missing Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And, so it's
Yeah. That's a good
probably Boom
question.
Comics is gonna write like 3 years worth of comics for this point.
Right.
And
So
I want my credit. I want
so if
my
you listen,
credit. Damn.
that's what I was gonna say. Boom, if you're
I want my
listening,
cut. Yeah.
there's a story plot right there. Or,
Yeah, yeah,
or let's even do better yet. Amy Jo Johnson, if you're listening and you want to do a space comic, there you go. Because she's
yeah,
working
yeah,
with Boom Comics now. So
yeah.
yeah.
The next point, and this is like the pre last one. After this,
Okay.
there's only one last thing. The last point, the pre last one is Zordon's death.
Oh
I don't think he's
yeah.
dead, so I think they just
Why
busted his
not?
energy too. That's me, but what did you think of Zordon's death?
Okay,
Good
so
slash and
oh man, you hit it right on the nail. Okay, because you just said something that was kind of funny. So yes, Andros breaks the tube, big wave comes out, destroys all evil. End of show, right? No, of course not. Um, so before that, he kills his sister. He literally kills his sister, Astronomer, and that makes him smash the tube. Actually, it's because he was pretty much in distress, and I don't know what the point of that, the whole killing his sister off first. But I again, he's not there. Zordon's not in the tube. No, that's he's in a time warp. Again, we've been saying this. They even say it in the show, in the very first episode of MMRP. They said it. I think even in space at one point too, where he's there saying Zordon's in a time warp. Blah 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 blah. But no, Zordon's not dead. Zordon can be anywhere in the universe. He could just be part of one of the Morphin Masters,
yeah,
and they no one would know because no one has to say, "Oh well, though this Morphin Master is Zordon," but he wouldn't have to tell you. It's just be like he's a Morphin Master.
yeah. They
But
hinted at it pretty hard in Cosmic Fury, but
yeah. But again, I is he dead? No, of course he's not dead. He was in Cosmic Fury. Seriously, he was. He's just energy. At this
yeah,
point, he would be considered energy.
he's
He
the
could.
reincarnation of Zato basically,
It's
because he
basically yeah.
uh
At this point, yeah.
I
So
thought it was interesting the way that when you see it, when you think about it, obviously he's not dead, but at the moment you saw it, you were like, "Oh my God, this basically space dad died for our sins to cleanse us of the evils of the world," right?
and again, I think it would have been a great ending to the whole series after 30 years if they did it. And the way they would have
Yeah.
done it today would have been different than then
Uh,
for visuals.
well, yeah,
But I think it was
but
a great. I think it was a great ending to a non-great ending. That makes any sense. It was supposed to be the
yeah,
ending of all Power Rangers, but it
it's
wasn't.
great if you don't think about it. If you think about it, it starts turning to shit, like a lot of
Yeah.
things.
And then you got the ending scene with Astronomer being dead, and you got him carrying the body out of the spaceship, and we got the Disney. I call it the Disney moment, crying, blah blah, blah, and she turns into her human
Yeah,
looking
they did the
self,
Beauty and
and
the Beast. They did
yeah,
the Beauty and the Beast thing where
the
Belle
Disney
cries and the
movie,
Beast turns into a human, and oh,
yeah.
that he drops a tear and she comes back to life. Yeah,
And she goes, "How did I get here? How did I get here?" And you're like,
every
"Okay,
soap opera's done that, by the way.
it's yeah, yeah,
Every-
yeah." Oh, there you go. There's a good one. This is the adult. This is the adult man soap opera. So anytime a woman says Power Rangers are for kids, you go, no, no, no. This is my soap opera.
yeah, you watch this show, and that literally ends our thing because we're talking the series finale, and that was the
Yeah.
last
Oh,
point.
okay,
Yeah,
awesome. But yeah, overall, yeah, it was a great ending, even with the little Disney moment in there. It's a great ending. But again, look at the age that the kid we were as kids when that show came out.
Yeah,
We wouldn't have thought, oh, it was a Disney moment. We would have thought, oh, his sister came back and back to being good after being forced to be evil.
yeah,
Because the second time she was forced to be evil, brain whatever to that robotic stuff, so she couldn't kill us about being good. Uh, yeah, and then going to home planet, and then of course I don't want to leave you, blah 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 blah, crying, 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 and then all of a sudden they both Zan shows up on the ship, and so does Andros. Okay, let's go back to Earth together. Happy, happy. You know,
yeah,
it was the ending is a good ending, even though it's cheesy nowadays watching
yeah,
it and knowing that it wasn't a full ending to Power Rangers. It was still a good ending, and if they use that ending for Cosmic Fury or something, instead of having the whole "I'm looking for Zordon," "I'm looking to do this," "we need to save this from Lord Zed," and all that, and then Lord Zed gets stayed in a planet, and we're off. If they did that ending with Zordon today for their last 30th year, goodbye Power Rangers thing, I think it would have been a better way of ending the show. Still to this day, it would have been a better way of ending it.
yeah. What? Why don't you tell everybody about how they can reach us and all of these things? Because I have somebody at the door, and I'll be right back.
Oh,
So you
sure.
can.
Okay. So if you'd like to reach us, contact us, you can always leave comments here. You can always go to the DTV83 page that's linked down here. The Masquerade page is also linked on our homepage here on YouTube. Uh, we both got Facebook pages. I believe they're both linked here. If not, mine's just DTV83 at Facebook, and you got Masquerade at Facebook. So yeah, if you want to check us out, check the links out in the bio, the description. I can link them in the description too. Why not? I'll do that this time as well, so you guys don't have to scroll through the pages and all that. But yeah, if you guys like this type of content, please like, subscribe, and follow us here on YouTube. And if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions, like we said in the beginning of the show, let us know, and we will be taking all comments soon. So
Yeah,
thanks for watching. And Mascara,
yeah.
everything good?
To kind of wrap up the to wrap up my thoughts on the finale. I think it was a very, very good finale. You did exactly what you needed to do. The big hanging nail is the whole Rita and Zed being human, and Divatox turning into basically Demetria or not. You left that one pretty. You left that hanging nail because you didn't explain that they're the same person. You didn't explain that they're sisters. You didn't explain that if Divatox turns into like basically a midwife because she's wearing the white dress like a midwife, uh, a 1920s midwife, like.
Yes,
But
it's
the
the same
whole
actress.
yeah, it's the same actress, but like you didn't resolve that, and the whole, especially more importantly, really, the whole turning Zordon and Rita into human beings. If Zordon and whatever are human beings, so's Rito. Well, why wasn't Rito turned into a human being too? Because that's her brother, right? Master Vile.
Right.
If Master Vile is human, why did he turn into? You established this family of evil, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden, two of them are human. Whoops! Like no, bro. Like uh, the and it leads to bigger problems later in other shows like Operation Overdrive, where they come up with that Thrax character that's supposed to be the son of Rita and Zed. That guy's supposed to just be a human being.
Yeah.
If the spell is cured, if the spell is lifted, if whatever the curse is gone, you really as a storyteller, and it doesn't make any sense. I know things change because of 30 years of the show, whatever, but I always thought that was a big hanging nail. Like, why did they
Yeah.
turn into that? Uh, but that's basically my thoughts. If you want to check out some of my stuff, by the way, since we're wrapping up the show, you can check out Mascara Fighters. We're doing this big anniversary event March 11th at a Flipper Cinema. It's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna have tickets, music, live music, because I'll be performing. I'll be showing off some of the action figures for Mascara Fighters because this is one of the hooks of our show that I'm actually a series creator, and David's a musician as well as I. So like we come from a different point of view mentally than most just regular
Yeah.
podcasters that are just blah 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 blah. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd for 4 hours. No,
Yeah.
we're actually working nerds, if you will.
Yeah.
we
Maybe
actually we're applied nerds. We apply well, you know what I mean?
exactly. Maybe next time I'll play the theme to Power Rangers for you
There,
guys because I
there
can
you
do
go.
that.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Go check his stuff out. I mean, if you ever get a chance to check out his toy making, it's awesome. His shows are great, awesome shows, and like he says, anniversary coming up soon, March 11th. And is it going to be streamed on YouTube, Facebook?
It's a documentary, so we're
Oh,
having
it's a
a
documentary.
theatrical. It's a theatrical release. We're having two shows for it the same day, and I'm talking to the theater, and I'm talking to other theaters about maybe having a a limited run of maybe one more encore performance or something like that. But it's to get the it's a independent, so it's harder than say Aquaman 3 or something like. Oh, Aquaman 3, let's all open the doors. Mascara
Yeah.
Fighters. No, you know,
No, this should be like this.
it's a,
This is kind of like a Sundance type thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much jumping hurdles and things, but it is going to be a
Awesome.
very fun documentary. Mascara Fighters anniversary. Gonna see a really detailed, if you will, journey, condensed journey of 10 years of Mascara Fighters. You know, it's
Yeah.
how
Very
many brands
nice.
live it. Thank you, man. Thank you. And yeah, like David said, subscribe, leave your comments, all that stuff, and we'll see you next time.